up and do my thing. I want to get into it, man, you know. Like a sex machine, man.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Sage Baby podcast. I'll be your host today, Sage Baby, and today we have a whole panel on its own, man. Guys, why don't you guys say hi? Hello.
Hi.
So, you have a couple of stuff to go through, and this is the no safe for work section, where anything and everything we'll be talking about here and now. It's not something that you should be listening to while working because, like I said, it's not safe for work. I'd like to start from here. Kindly introduce yourself as we go on.
My name is Esther.
My name is Ben.
Travis, Krista, Lawrence,
Hannah.
So that's basically 99% of everyone here, and that was basically the introduction. We'll start with a simple question while we dive deep slowly as we go through it. So I'd like to start with the guys, then we'll drift off to the females. So our first question is, what is the best and the worst thing about being a woman? Travis.
the best and the worst thing about being a woman. Once Jake was a woman, so I wouldn't know. but just a joke though. But I think the best thing in being a woman has the ability to nurture and bring up a family. So how she brings it, she can decide to bring a generation that is filled with love, or a generation that's filled with toxic or something. And the worst part of being a woman is the emotional part. Logic inaweza potea. Then you just emotion iko hapo. So some factors may not be really critically thought of. So naweza sema good parts, the natural, bad parts, emotion.
So I'd say the best part of being a woman would be the determination. I think usually the determination that I see in most of the girls or women that I know that drive. And for the worst part, I'd also say the emotional part. Not that women aren't logical, it's just that most of the times it's easier for women to use their emotional side to reason. But that's, again, from my experience. I'm sure there are outliers in every sample. Yeah.
Okay, so to me, the best part about being a woman, I think it's how they can multitask. Let me say how they are focused when they want to do something, like they are really onto it. Then, as my fellow colleagues actually say, because this is like an experienced staff, so it's all about the feeling and how they handle certain issues relating to emotions. Okay, yeah. So that's also the worst part that I can say about being a woman.
Me, Mr. Wadanganya. I'll also answer that question as a man. For me, the best thing about being a woman, you have boobs. you have. That's the best for me. Yeah. The worst thing, I'll say you actually don't get to understand the male perspective of things. That's the thing I would say. You don't get to understand the male perspective of things, and you tend to relate a man to a woman. But the way a woman is raised and the way a man is raised, completely different things. So I'd like to slide it off to our feminine. What do you think is the best thing about you being a woman?
For me, I guess I'd say almost, I won't say there's nothing I don't like. maybe I would say the prejudice against women. For example, when kila mtu amesema hapa women are emotional. For me, I'd like to think we're all emotional. Even sasa hapa the emotional thing is what the emotional aspect is different. Because for men also get very emotional. Because kukua angry, that's an emotion. And mnakuanga out here beating each other out. Yeah, but si tu even tunalia or something, so suddenly we're emotional. But yeah, I wouldn't say, I'd say the prejudice against women. But all the other things, I think, I love being a woman.
For me, what I love about being a woman, I'd say I do love everything. From how we think, how we act, and to how we experience things, I'd say I do love everything. That's how I do love everything about being a woman. What I really hate, I'd say sometimes I hate how us as ladies take things for granted. We don't think out. They don't think through when such issues come. What else I hate about women is that they take most of the things to heart instead of just sitting down, thinking about what will happen, the reason why this is happening, you see, such things. Yeah.
Beth for MP.
Sivina to mention periods.
I was about to.
Yeah, I am here. Okay. No English, okay. Me personally, what I think is, mimi najipenda kwa nini? I have all the advantages I need personally. Says kata. Says mimi naongea in a free way. Le. Ukitaka do for traffic. I'll use something meaning and atanipatia, right?
Unamuongelesha tu moves like.
Nitamuuliza tu vizuri.
Unamsmailia tu anatoa do.
Na hizo vitu zitolewe, right? But kitu mimi nachukia. Nyinyi muongee hizi zingine emotions and stuff, mimi siku huko, mimi niko tu hapa kwa crumbs. Kuna kuzaa, tunandamainiwanga kwa ladies. Ukiangalia like literally, I haven't seen, mi kwanza inauma sahi, the fact that when you talk to people, vile kulikuwa na elections, and then you tell them, why don't you give a lady a chance to become president? Alafu atakwambia, atafikiria kama lady, she'll be emotional and stuff, why don't you give them chance, tuone kama atapeana hiyo chance ingine, like, kama anaweza make a difference, kama anaweza tengeneza nyumbani, mbona sitengeneza your own nation? Good question.
Debatable.
It's not debatable because you talk to someone about it and you're like, apana, wasichana mtaleta tu hizi issues zenu, tutakuwa emotional, mara periods, mara sijui nini. But I'm to pay a logic reason why she can't be the president. She can't be one and two. Mnasema tu hizi zingine emotional.
Kwanza emotional.
Emotional. Mimi nataka mniexplain what kind of emotions zenye tuko nazo zenye nyinyi watu wengine hamna. Alafu mmesema ati sisi tunawabebanga kama maji wengine, but personally nyinyi sometimes tunatubebanga kama wanaume wenzenu. Mbona msiende?
Because you asked for equality, so
yeah, no, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be because Trevor, wewe ni chali, mimi ni chali, mimi ni dem. Kuna hapo katikati. Doesn't mean we have to relate like boys.
Okay, sasa sijui ni wacha nianze na the president part, ndio? Nimeinteract kiasi na wasi wa big kiasi. And the thing is, utapata handling a family ni immediate. The man you have been with for years, ndio? The children you've given birth to, now you have them for years. So it's easy to deal with something and people you can relate with, ndio? But now for the nation itself, you have everyone in it. You have those who don't like you, you have those who like you. Now, as a president who's a female, let's give a scenario, it's before or after or during your crimes, and then unasikia a particular set of group who didn't vote for you or who didn't like you are doing ABCD. Will you logically take it through, or will you so I don't want to say that's what will happen, but I just want to show one of the instances at which some inaweza leta a different effect. Sisemi hiyo ndio hivyo, but a scenario, no.
Wait.
And
But
then
so if you're bringing that up about us being so emotional during our periods, inamaanisha watu wengi wanafaa kuwa hurt during certain times of the month.
no.
Unafaa kuwa na these cases. If you're this emotional during this time, where the cases tumefanya hii, mtu alitusumbua ama nilikosana na mtu asubuhi.
Sisemi iko hivyo. Nasema biologically A will lead to B. True. So because biologically all women are different, but they'll still experience something that will tinker with their emotions and will tinker with their need. When you're having cramps, is whatever.
Hormones.
Yeah, the hormones, whether you like it or not, will and have to affect who you are. So now using that as a scenario, we cannot clearly say that judgment will always be logical.
So you're saying all the times you have our periods are illogical?
No. We cannot depend on some things because of some factors.
I think at your statement,
we cannot.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh, like.
They are already like women who are in positions.
Exactly.
Positions, right?
So inaweza kuwa better. So inaweza kuwa better, ama inaweza kuwa worse. So you, the person who's making decisions, do you want to be in something that can sway any day, any time, or do you want to be in something that you can, like, literally utajua and cut across?
So conclusion to say, a woman can be a president.
Yes. But really, like, people think there will be that uncertainty. And that's scary for guys.
Yeah, it's an assumption.
Because there are other countries.
Actually, the reason why you're saying it's an assumption, it's because the normal behavior, when it comes to like that period of time, all around, like, there's a rule and there's an exception. Exception is what comes rarely, and the rule is what happens most of the time. So most of the time, the people usually say like, or people have experienced mood swings during that specific period of time. I don't know about if old women like have that mood swings, but personally speaking, what I've seen from my mother, the mood can shift. Then you're like, I'm not talking to you today, by the way. If you calm down, that's when I'll reach out to you. So that drives a lot of guys, not everyone, but a lot, to think that this uncertainty, I'm not comfortable with it. I want to be certain.
But I think
that's
that's
what he was trying to portray.
Because if all of us we experience certain emotions and during certain times they're spiked, right? For a man, experience job imemsumbua, akikuja kwa nyumba mtoto amevunja kikombe. So see that kuvunja the favorite cup in a spike what happened at work. So I don't think we can talk about this women kukua emotional during their period. It means kuna uncertainty. It's always there. Hata Ruto akiwa na a bad period alafu aone mtu amemsumbua, he can do the same thing. When mnasema about women can do akiwa on their periods. So I don't think us being emotional is an issue at all. I'm guessing, I don't know if it's about your experiences or anything, but I don't think it's a problem really.
Literally, what I think, it's totally different. Tuseme, hata kama we have the mood swings and stuff, mood swings wezi fika nayo tuseme kwa ofisi, like at your mood ya tutaenda kuangusha bosi wako vile unataka.
Just a point I want to portray. people are in school, yeah. People are doing the exams. The lecturer who's invigilating the exams, she's pregnant. A friend of mine was telling me that this woman was like, do anything, she's sparking on you, she's jumping on you. So you can imagine that's not just one case. There are many different cases, yeah. So even if like Travis is saying, like, this one time when she's having periods, this one time, what about this other time when she is, okay, there's these times that she's having periods, she's thinking logically, she's making best decisions, we are okay with that. But how certain are we that this will be consistent? That's what he's actually saying. How consistent is it? What we've been saying is consistent is there'll be mood swings. This time there'll be mood swings, this time there won't be. Are you getting what he's trying to portray to you guys? So that's basically what he's talking about. Like, for a man, like, yes, you'll be angry because that person insulted you, that person hit you, but it gets to a point that you're like, hey, I'm at work, I can't bring the stresses that I have from home to work. Yeah. But how could you explain that this woman is pregnant, but she's ready to pounce on you at any time?
But okay, I think here the issue is how do you know that this thing, your reaction is because of them being pregnant or on their periods?
Bill.
Because
when you biologically take how a woman is built, so and then you take also how a man is built. Remind me that word again.
Hormones.
Yeah. Your hormone count ni mob kuliko yetu. So automatically, whether you like it or not, your reasoning itakuwa slightly either more rational or less rational kutuliko, depending on how ama what your hormone count ama how you're feeling that day. Hiyo ni kitu natural. So
hata mimi naona hivyo because
is the truth. Yeah. Point number 2. What sign you watu sasa kwa hormones? Na hiyo ni kitu ndio umesema. From my experience na munitoe correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Females might have a problem with digesting truth. If it doesn't suit with them, they don't want it. If it suits them, they want it.
I think you need kila mtu.
Hiyo ni everyone.
No. Naweza kupea 100 examples as to where boy like I jambamba but he had to. And I'll show you many examples where the woman, it's clearly even scriptured that it's not supposed to be there, but there's kind of that can force. Let's force it. Let's do it.
Come again.
Mimi nataka nipe tu example ya 1-2 thing nitakata.
You want truth?
Yeah.
You guys are more emotional than us.
And that's why you'll find a lady, mtu amemkosea kidogo hivi, instead of aseme tu, let me try to cope up with this situation. Utasikia tu amejificha pahali, amepasta na lia vibaya sana. You get?
But see,
no.
Me sielewi hapo. He doesn't.
I'm that huge example they keep on asking.
He's
like
crying
you
the
find
issue.
2 guys fighting for one female, and then eventually watakuwa marafiki.
Yeah.
Those guys will always be friends. But you'll have a female who does not like another one, and you ask them why mbona mpendani? Simpendi tu. Evil too. Why is it so?
And that, imagine,
Why is it
I come for a scenario.
No,
There's these two ladies I knew. They were living in the same house. Alafu napata kila mtu akona gasi yake, kila mtu akona vyombo yake, wanapika wanakula, because that huyo rafiki yake ati aliona akiongea na boyfriend yake. Okay. It's not like that. How?
Next question.
So umekubali.
But severe domestic violence cases, most of them zinakuanga men beating up women. Hiyo inakuanga because of emotion.
No, what has to happen is kila mtu anafanya place yake kwa society. Unaona kama vile in the pride land we have the lion hunting and the male lion taking care of the pride. The female ishakubali on you hunt. The male lion ishakubali on take care of family. Unaona? Lakini say when you come to humans, no one wants to take their responsibility.
But
the lady
hakuna defined role.
Your own example inamaanisha wale the ladies when they take the role of kwa the
male
No.
figure. I'm a provider.
Ule God, Jesus.
Tumia Kiswahili.
Hata Kiswahili nipotea.
Lugha ya mama.
I'm just explaining the scenario.
I can't explain the scenario. It's like very here, but I can't talk.
Yeah, you can see back in here.
It's acceptable. It's acceptable.
Naambia mbele.
But
Lakini mimi nakataa.
wewe unajaribu.
What I think is everyone needs a chance, no matter how. Everyone is emotional, everyone is kila mtu ako na ile hata mtu anakuwa na siku yake the same way. And I think because all through me I just use politics as a factor. Ile yenyewe you've given this male all this compare the chances, but they still fail you, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no chance you're getting. When I'm to try lady, mseme she tried and then she failed. That's why we're not going to give them a chance. When I'm msitumie mko like this guy just did a mistake. Wacha tu tuendelee kumpatia.
Then
Before I'd like to ask you, which leader that's a woman has put themselves on that seat, convince watu, because we're talking about guys giving a female or to become a president. Which lady amejitokeza akajiput out there. She's done the campaigns for let's take an example of our current president. Since the word out there, I'm not certain about this because I rarely follow news and stuff because I feel it like it doesn't resonate with me that much because
the news is too negative.
So which female has done campaigns since let's take Ruto for the second term? I heard that he was campaigning throughout. Have we had a female throwing herself out there like that?
That's actually something I wanted to talk about.
Have we had a female, because personally I'm in the tech industry, females are not many. They are not many. It's like women themselves don't want to put themselves in those positions.
I don't think that's it.
So the first thing we should ask, because even the dropout rate for the people who had enrolled, the highest percentage were women. So the thing we should be talking about is not why aren't we giving women this chance? It should be why aren't females or women picking up things to deal with social sciences? Because you will find that they dominate in humanities, they dominate in beauty, they dominate in what else can I say? Because engineering, if you go to an engineering class, the ratio of men to women, you can't say you don't have the opportunity. You can decide you can decide to go and be an engineer. You can decide to go and be a mechanic. You can decide, but why aren't we having women pushing themselves in those positions? That's the conversation we should be having. We should be having the conversations that women are emotional, women are this. No. It should be why aren't women putting themselves in those positions? That I think should be the best direction.
I think I had a video about the gender. If we are equal as genders, if male and female are equal, and the lady there actually she's at Alexa, a facilitator there, and she really explained it well. We are complementary, and also explaining how feminism has changed over the years, saying it started as just showing people that we have an impact on the society, and it should be recognized. But then it turned out to, and we should also be given chances. Before we wanted to be given the chance to own property or do certain things. So that's what they were pushing for. But then nowadays it's changed. The female empowerment. You've all seen how it goes these days. You're told you don't need a man. And certain things, and it also led to roles aren't defined.
It's more of a war.
Yeah, it's more of a war. Yeah, exactly.
It's not. It's gotten to a point that it's not helping the society, but it's destroying it.
It's destroying it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because looking at it this way, personally in my head, this whole notion of feminism isn't
African or Kenyan per se. It's something that came from the West. So Africans have decided to adopt it, but it's like they are not adopting it in like its original state, on how like it's actually was meant for. Because if I ask you guys a question, what are feminists fighting for?
I can only try to answer through an assumption. I think they're fighting for an equality that does not exist.
Because I actually posted one of these clips on Instagram in my pseudo account. He was asking women, what rights does a man have and a woman doesn't have? Can you name one? Or even can you even think of one?
A right that a man has and
a woman doesn't have.
I think for the rights, of course, the rights have been changed and all of that, but the mentality still exists. I think that's the issue. I'd like to say that's the issue, because there's some people who think women can't be in certain fields, and positions. For example, the president run that we're just talking about. I think it's about that. The mentality still exists, but the rights are there too.
Mentality and everything, but it is for happen.
Like it is a right for a man to fully and dedicate himself for the family. True. You have to be the head as a man. If you have a family, there's no excuse. You are the head of that family. Think of that's a right. Which the woman cannot overtake that right, can she?
Nope.
Exactly. So that's one of the rights as an example. But which sasa ndio saying
wait, is that a right or a social obligation?
It's a right because remember wakanilisema we've forgotten our places in the society. Kama si umesema we are aping the West. Ukiangalia the West, they lack culture. They don't have any culture. No? Sure. That's why everything they do, it's half-assed, it's confusing. You know, we have queers, we have that, because no one knows their stand. If we come back to who we are as Africans, everyone has their stand. No? And when everyone has their stand, wakati gurudumu ni gurudumu, na side mirror, the car moves vizuri, najua. But now when the bonnet starts saying, I also want to be a tire, and then the tire is like, I'm yellow, I'm a number plate, you know, nothing moves. So I think we as a society, we should put three things kando. Tunafaa tuweke ego yetu chini, tunafaa tuweke selfishness yetu chini, na bado tunafaa tuweke metagaje this trying to be people who we are not. Then say tukishajua sasa who you are, you're an African lady with 2 kids married to so and so, you stop bitching and now you start being the woman that you're supposed to be in that family. You know, you won't go Beyonce on your nigga because you watch people in the TV, now you want to do that. No. By the end of the day, you'll have to bring up, you'll have to bring up that family that will go outside na bado itabeba hiyo maadili yenu. So I think we have not to go back to who we are as a culture. Tuache kukimbizana na vitu za nje, hizo ndio saizi zinatupotosha.
Interesting. So we'll move on to a really interesting question. What is the definition of common sense? I'd like to get different perspectives on this. What is the definition of common sense?
Yes. Definition of common sense. Common sense is not common to everyone. It's hard to define common sense. It's hard.
It's hard, yeah. What's common sense?
Common sense is a sense that is common.
Using the word to define yourself.
I think common sense is the ability to reason and think as the situation would have affected you.
Interesting.
I think how I will define common sense is as a way of reasoning that makes sense. I don't know. I had something and it got lost in the middle there. But I think that's what common sense is. I'm saying a way of reasoning that makes sense Probably to a majority of people, because common sense, like the word suggests, is common, so it's sort of like a norm. So it's a way of reasoning that makes sense to a
Majority of people.
yeah, a good majority of people.
Okay. So to me, common sense is basically doing something reasonable that can be detected by so many people and say that this thing that this person is saying or doing have a positive impact towards what he or she is doing. Yeah.
I have a question to ask. So definition imepeana. So for example, some common sense is like something that it's common to the majority of people, right? So me, like everyone else is doing sex, like it's sleeping around, yeah? And then me, I'm not. So yeah, I would say the majority is common sense. Me and see common sense.
Yeah, I think hata mimi nilikuwa niseme my definition ni what is reasoning. It's the reasoning is personal to someone. Yeah, you know, common sense yako na yangu inaweza kuwa different na kunaweza kuwa aspects zinakuwa the same. Yeah, I guess that's it for me. There's the aspects zinaweza kuwa the same in our reasoning na zingine zinaweza kuwa different.
Nataka kuchange. Common sense. Vile umeuliza hiyo swali, imeleta swali zingine mingi sana. So juu hizo swali, I think common sense ni the simplicity of thought. Simplicity of thought.
That creates more questions.
Like whatever you are thinking should be so simple that anyone else afai ateseke kuelewa. Nona? But chenye umesema ina make sense. Ama chenye unafanya ina make sense without effort.
So
effortless sense. Yeah.
So it's common sense to say +1 + 1 is equal to 2, right?
Usilete math juu yo kiko dadi inaweza fanya 1 + 1 iko 11. Usilete math. Math tena italeta maswali zingine mingi sana. But yeah, but I get your point. Yeah, I think.
Like from what everybody has said, I've come to understand like the idea that people have in their head is common sense is more like a natural ability that each and every individual has to make a good judgment that's in regards with his or her behavior in a practical sense. That's like putting everything and anything that everyone has said, taking a serious example, like everyone is sleeping around. Is it common sense for me to also sleep around? So if it's not like a good judgment that someone makes, then it won't be common sense. So that will be like the large majority of people aren't using the common sense because they're not making good judgments. Hence, I'd say like common sense at that point wasn't quite common. So we're going to the next question.
Actually, for that. So from that, is common sense subjective or objective? Like, yeah, what is? Or let me just. Is common sense subjective? Does it depend on who is talking about it?
Yes.
So different people have different common sense. So maybe common sense isn't so common after all.
Yeah, actually a good example. Sage aliniambia time nyingine about mwenda wazimu anafikiria something is so mean, but kwako ni nini, unaona msia yuko sawa.
Kwake hakuna common sense.
So conclusion ni ukiambia mse wewe ni vitu common unafaa like you see. So that's hiyo ni kwa judgmental.
Lakini kuna vitu like example like tuseme there's this lazy person anaosha vyombo, si ndio? And then glass imekatika hadi hapa. So unapata anachota haraka kijaza hapa, si ndio? And then kuna mtu atachukua hiyo na yake chini. Between the two. Si kuna moja obviously it's ni kitu kawaida but kuna moja watu watumii common sense.
Yeah, tukiangalia it's their way of doing things.
Yeah. So that's why enough it was now subjective, but now how do you put tabs on it?
Hence it goes to the next question. Is common sense really common?
No, it's not.
No.
It's not
It's not common to everyone.
Actually, I think now common sense is a tag of thinking. How are you thinking? Are you thinking vile inafaa? Or are you thinking vile haifai? So I think common sense is a tag. It's not a description. It's a tag.
And I think it changes over time. Your common sense will keep common sense.
It change.
Interesting.
Ukikuwa careless, una common sense. Ukikuwa chopio like, mama, tunacheza na common sense yetu. Umetubebea common
So that's
sense.
the question. So is common sense only depend on what you are thinking? Or what is common sense? Maybe we have to understand.
It can be what you're thinking, but it's also like largely independent on like behavioral on the people, what you did, like the judgment people make in making their decisions. So we are going to drift off a bit here. Do you guys believe that feelings are more important than facts?
In general, I mean,
Like it's just that. Do you believe that feelings are important than facts? Because you can feel this way and the facts is this other way. So do you believe that feelings are more important than facts?
No.
Example. We use one.
Okay. Okay. Since like the podcast is mainly dependent on like human to human interaction, let's take a relationship between two guys, a girl and a girl. So the woman feels like the guy is cheating, and she has heard or has been told that I saw your man with another woman. She doesn't know what they were doing together. Exactly. And she felt this way. So she's bringing a fuss.
Yeah.
If the man tells him, no, it wasn't like that, she feels this way. And she brings up the drama. So, and you can't really convince her. You can't convince her that it wasn't that way.
Logic is big.
It's true.
It's so like
just an example, but it's to say that.
So like that example was like, do you believe that feelings are more important than facts?
Mimi nasema ni 50-50.
Actually, let's use another example.
Okay, thanks.
So say another relationship, your guy is whooping your ass every day, you have black eyes left, right and center, but you still love him. Ni mtu wangu, niliambia nivumilie ndoa. But the fact is you're being whooped daily. So I think logic. To me
Do you believe that feelings are more important than facts?
no. Facts are far much important than feelings.
50-50.
Yeah, I think hata mimi niko 50-50 because they intertwine because sasa for that case to scare that guy was cheating it provoke a feeling, so your insecurity it's something that needs to be hiyo ni fact may come up sasa and needs through the feeling and it needs to be dealt with. Ama for the case of the whooping yeah, sasa unaanza kufikiria why do you feel obligated kukaa mahali unachapwa kila wakati. So I think
50-50.
Mmetujibu swali yetu ya kwanza. Asanteni sana.
You've taken note, eh?
Yeah, I have. 50, everyone 50-50 apart from us.
You have something to say.
Yeah.
Mind, rudi your swali tena.
Do you believe that feelings are more important than facts?
If love is involved, it's a no. Feelings are not more important than facts.
If love is involved.
Yeah, if love is involved. Because you can have those feelings for that one person. Unaweza kuwa unampenda ile like for real. But a fun fact is that it's not really a fun fact. The fact is, as much as the Travis's example when amesema that someone huyo msee anakupiga, you see, you still have that feeling like me nampenda but ananichapa, sindio? But there's still ile point here, like as much as you love this guy, you can sit down, you can discuss. You know, it's not when you nani ile example nani amesema. You know, if love is involved and it's real, you know, you can't be insecure because you're sure that even him alikucheat on, you know, maybe that girl ama huyo msee ni alimkujia akamforce, or a kiss slipped, you know, to the other someone. Or you can
Slipped.
yeah. So you can just sit down, talk it through, you know, because I believe that the moment even feelings get into facts when your parents, the relation between you and your parents, you see, you know, the moment that you sit down, you talk it through, and that person becomes as honest as possible and tells you, I did this and this, you can talk it through and namkubaliana either because you may cheat on tuachane ama tuendelee. Or
you have to talk through things.
yeah, it's good to talk it through because maybe the way you thought it's not the way it was.
Alafu
Let
pia
me
mimi
tell you
naona
something,
cheating
let me
with
tell you
process.
something, guys.
Anakuwa ameifikiria.
Let me tell you something,
It's been
guys.
there.
Let me tell you something, guys. The way these three people are thinking, it's not the same way that I'm thinking, because they are both, you know, I feel like they have to first find, you know, you first have to criticize, you have to analyze each and everything, because the moment you start thinking things and assuming, that's the moment that you realize, oh, by the way, Travis is alright. By the way, whatever said you're saying, maybe it makes sense at some point. You see, it's good. It's good to. That's why when I said what the worst thing about women, I think I put that point, and that's what you guys continued doing over and over and over again, but you didn't notice.
Meaning change. 70 first, 30 feelings. There is always this.
Before tuendelee, what is a fact?
It's a fact.
An undisputable truth.
Undisputable truth. So basically, if 1 + 1 is 2, and you feel like 1 + 1 is not 2, you are 70-30% about it. Because we've clearly said that fact is undisputable truth. And there's the feeling. So you get to understand, like, a feeling is more important than the facts.
Actually, facts eventually make feelings. Now, depending on whether you're a biased person or not. Okay? If you're not a biased person, your facts will not give you feeling. They'll give you reasoning, they'll give you solutions, they'll give you ways. No? But if you're a biased person, the facts may end up giving you feelings. Just as you'll start dwelling on. You'll start thinking only about this particular thing, and then hizo zingine sasa utazipotea. So
can you give like an example on a fact that can like trickle down to a feeling? Because when you say that, it makes sense, but without an example that connects the dot, people can be like, nah, that doesn't make sense. So like, can you give like a scenario, like the one I gave, 1 + 1 is 2. That's a fact. How is a feeling connected to the 1 + 1? Or how is the feeling connected to gravity?
Acha ni decipher moja. Jua moja niko nayo sisi waambie italeta. Yeah, forget it. Find neural link. Uione. So to let's say we are a couple, tumeenda kubuy gari, ndio. Then my wife was like, "By this sipendagi. Hata njogona bila liniongelesha hapana hizo. Twende tununue place nyingine." So and then to buy your gari. Then tukirudi home, it break down kiasi. No. So it is a fact that cars will break down anytime. Anytime. A car will break at here. But now your woman will be like, sinilikuambia. No. So yeah. I think that,
So that you say it's a fact.
it's a fact.
That car will break down anytime.
Anytime in the day.
How is that linked to the film? Because you've basically given us an example, like the wife doesn't like Njuguna's car dealership.
She feels Njuguna was this, she feels Njuguna was that. Now the car is broken down. Now she feels if we didn't buy from Njuguna, it wouldn't have broken down.
So how does the fact come in there?
The fact comes in that
because the fact that we have, it's the car. The feeling is
biased.
Njuguna.
Njuguna, that's what I'm
So the Njuguna is different. The fact is different. There's no linking.
The car is a link.
No. The car is just the car.
Which is a link.
Njuguna. No. Cars will break down
That's
at any time. So how does the feeling about Njuguna link with the car?
The fact of ownership, we got it from.
But that necessarily doesn't mean that it's a fact.
Yeah, it was just an example. An example of a scenario for sure.
I get what you're saying, but that's not based on the car. That's not based on the fact. If it was like Njuguna's cars break down, and that's a fact, then the woman feels like Njuguna and his cars break down, then it will be a fact. But if it's a car on the other side and Njuguna on the other side, those are two separate entities. So it won't actually make sense when you say like she feels like Njuguna's cars are not good because cars actually break down. It's like you're putting the cars facts and putting it inside the feelings, of which you've separated them, making it look like it's one thing.
The fact is about the car and the feeling is about
Njuguna. Yeah. If it was the feeling about the car and the fact about the car, then it will make sense.
Okay, kwa relationship, sijui neno vitu amesema story ya kuplay. As in, the fact is, mchele play. So feelings inakujia, play. I'm hurt.
I'd like to refresh your memory kidogo. I've said she was told that they saw him with another woman.
No, this one is another example.
Okay, if it's about playing, then it's an undisputed fact. They played. But if you just heard about it, then you felt a way about it, then you brought up disaster, for lack of a better word, then that is just, you're basically going on feeling. But if it was a fact, let's say you found them inside a room together, that's a fact. It can't be disputed. So, hence it goes back to the question, are feelings important than facts? If you find them playing you, and they're in the room there, you've seen it with your eyes, that's a fact. It's not a feeling. You get that fact, it makes you feel ABCD. So that's why I gave the most basic example. 1 + 1 is 2. That's a fact. So how does it be more important than the feeling? You get? I think that's the most basic that I can do. If 1 + 1 is 2, and you feel 1 + 1 is 25, does that actually make that feeling more important than the actual fact?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
So, how do you know the difference? Okay, go on.
No, I just remembered that many therapists, they usually say feelings aren't facts. Yeah, you can feel somehow about something, and
that does not
that actually isn't. Yeah. So I guess that's a nice way to close it.
True. How do you know the difference between what you feel and what you know? Pardon? How do you know the difference between what you feel and what you know?
What you can't explain what you feel. but what you know, there's a logical explanation to it. For example, if maybe I have dated 3 girls, right? And if I have dated 3 girls and all 3 girls have cheated on me, the fact is they've all cheated on me, but I feel like girls always cheat. But I'm only basing that on my experience
With these limited 3 girls. How do you know the difference between what you feel and what you know?
The director.
I guess like he's closed the chapter by saying you can explain what you know, but what you feel you can't really explain.
And also the action reaction. Someone's action reaction. Someone can tell you this, and someone can do you that. So by the end of the day, you will know that this person anakuaga hivi. So as much as they tell you, I love you, you won't feel it because you already know what they do is totally opposite.
Thank you for defending yourself.
Wathink tuko na shida. We always have.
So here's another question. Have you ever loved someone more than you love yourself?
No.
I think everybody has at one point in their lives.
No.
What else have you
How can you love someone else other than love yourself?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I have. I said I have.
Let me ask you. So, how did it reach to a point where you knew that you don't love yourself, and then you now you love
When does it mean you don't love
You
yourself?
forget.
It's just
The
magnitude.
like let's say today I was in the town. After town I meet with some of my buddies. We catch up. But I'll not do that. And then I'll just maybe decide nikae hapo, maybe nisaidie maybe the girl with studies, ama nikae tu hapo just hanging out with her. So no, if I make that a habit, I make it a habit of that I'll forget to do things for myself. I'll not be doing more for them. So when will I love myself? When will I do me?
I think ladies fall prey to usually more than guys. Because sitaki nichome alafu niambie.
Choma.
From the few relationships that I've had. Like imekuwa, for example, an example, loving someone more than yourself, you're sacrificing so much to this person now. You see, like najua nafaa kukua hii place, nafaa kumit na bed. Okay, nafaa kumit na star. Like kuna specific time when we meet, me and myself and there. Alafu kabisa ni mwanaume, like mwanaume tu mahali I call. You see, and that's like hiyo ni kitu nakuanga nimejekea, and I have this feeling towards it. Then mse tu anicall Crispa, Crispa
So you melt.
yeah, then when you see like alafu tena pia communication. Unaweza call mse mpaka ukozileza. Yaani ni tu ndo nakupigia. You see like una give so much of this other person na ya honi. So ni pia mpaka inakudrain. Unaweza jipende kwanza, unaona? I think.
So, my other question, what do you do to yourself to justify that you love yourself? What do you do to yourself to justify or someone to see that Esther really loves herself?
Before or after the feeling that you love them more than yourself?
Yeah, before.
Or before?
Yeah.
Before. Interesting. Okay, I'll do the things that I love to do. Like kama vitu nilikuwa napenda kufanya, I won't stop doing them. kama nilikuwa nienda studio kuimba, sitakosa kwenda studio ati juu Crispa amenipigia. You get? Sitakosa kuenda vacation ati juu Crispa ameniambia usiende tuko you see that thing. I think most of the time like okay, like so many ladies when you're in a relationship and they stick there and they know wanajuanga uso ni vibaya na wako hapo ni wale madem at some point ni kama wana struggle na self esteem na confidence hivyo nini and unaona sana like unapata katalia kijana dem ana struggle na self esteem na confidence unapata sasa tena anaitumia that kama advantage. Yeah.
I'll answer the question through decision making. So, the day I realized that I have the power to decide to say a yes or a no, it's the day I realized that hakuna mse anaweza ni stop kufanya anything. You see? So, if it's loving myself, if it's today I want to love me, if I want to love me, for example, time ya Valentine's, I loved me, you see. So, I made sure that I made that decision. Hata kama mse anicall, hata kama mse aniambie, Beth, let's go here. You know, I have that power kumwambia no. Sitaki kuenda hapa because I have some other plans. If I decided that day, maybe I was free and maybe I wasn't doing much. You know, if someone calls me and tells me, you know what, Beth, let's go somewhere, we talk. You know, I'd say a yes because it was not part of it. I didn't have a lot of plans during that day. So the question is, the answer is, you have to decide. You have to, if you really love this person more than you love yourself, you have to create time for that person so that at least he or she must feel loved. You see, like for me, the favorite person, and like I say, this person is my king, is my dad. Dad, maybe it might have some, you know, busy schedule, but we always create time and talk. You know, things that I can't tell anyone, I can tell Dad. You see, that's how, and we create, anytime that if I want to tell that Dad, this and this happened, you know, we'll create our own time when no one is around because, you know, I live with Dad, isn't it? So it's a matter of decision making here. You can't tell me that you have an exam at 5:30 and a guy calls you and tells you, I have a date at Kempisi. Can you come and go? You know, for me, I wouldn't go. Because, you know, you should know your priorities, what to do and what not to do.
Chick has ever made me not to do.
I can give you an example of a lady, alivia her whole semester virtually. You see, that's how tunasemanga love is blind or something kama hiyo. Inaanzanga kijokes. Yeah? Can you come over the weekend? Why not? Weekend siniko. Tukae tu Monday alafu tuingia class Tuesday. Si class yako inaanza Sunday. Kidogo hata usiende. Hakuna haja. Stuff. By the time the lady comes to know, the other as wengine wanafanya ya kumaliza kugraduate, yeye ako pale cut 1 ile day 1 yenye hajaingia. Na mzazi analipa school fees and stuff. So when you say it's about decision making, kuna watu wengine kutoka kwa mapenzi kunanga decisions inafanya ni kama umefunga ni the only person unaona kwa dunia ni uchali. Yaani kali message tu. Hata beshta kuja kwa mimi nimwambia kuna message. Sawa.
Which is a very skitumba. Mimi kwangu naona gaya ni kitu something very beautiful. You just have to know how to balance it and your normal life.
Mimi naona hiyo ya kupenda someone more than yourself is more of people pleasing.
Yeah.
It could be people pleasing.
Actually, we may dive into the next question, but let's carry on. Because the next question is loving someone more than you love yourself a bad thing?
Sometimes, yeah.
If it is harming you, if you're engaging in
Bad.
self-harm, come up when you gender class now, you're supposed to do that stuff.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
I think also ni mse tu ajijue. Ujue what do you want in life. The moment you have focus na decision zako, your priority na ujijue tu ni nani. Loving someone more than yourself is not a bad thing. But ukikosa kujijua, hapo ndo sasa unasemanga love is blind. Utakuwa tu unafuata tu upepo. Kwa hiyo dem alikuwa anajua anafaa kukua class. Mbona kwenda class? You see, so that's someone priority zake hata hazikuanga right in the first place. Yeah.
Can we all agree that the term love is a strong feeling of affection towards something or someone you've known for quite some time?
No.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Should I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many first love at first sight have you met at town? Town, pale CBD, haraka.
That's the infatuation. That's not love.
That's infatuation.
That is infatuation. Umeona kuna figure, kuna sura mzuri. That's why.
Then why is it called love at first sight?
Yeah.
It's called because there is no time to kutumia.
People did
infatuation.
Love, God, yeah, now that umesema hivyo sasa, love ni experience ama love ni
feeling. Love is a feeling.
Love is a feeling. So can you tell me how you want to tell me that? Can you convince me that I can feel I love Esther more than I like myself? How I feel about myself. Because at long last, you know that if I love Esther, there's something she's doing to my life. That's why I'm feeling that way. Right?
I have an example.
Okay.
I have your answer
So,
after the example.
kuna udem alikuwa na text Charlie. Wasichana, we tujipende. So udem alikuwa na text Charlie anamwambia amtumie bus fare aende. Like she was to start school. Akaambia mwenye anampeleka shule hata asilipe hata school fees. Like anataka kwenda kwa wanaume azini. Kuna Charlie amemwambia ati akuja muoe. Unaona? Ache shule, ajue Charlie, like amjue vizuri. You get? Ache shule, amtumie bus fare aende huko Kajiado. So in conclusion na alikuwa anasema hiyo Charlie amempenda venye yuko. Unaona? So apparently she has a disability. What hiyo tuweke kando. Like of course everyone has a ear, but if you're tuweke kando, in a normal person in quotes, like in your head senses, unaweza enda tu like ufanye tu vitu vingine. You see, that means udem ikifika point mpaka anaacha shule ende kwa mwanaume atanatika kuloa na yuko 18. Like huyo simse anajipenda. Like first of all, ujajipenda mwenyewe kujiaccept niko hivi na maybe I have a certain condition, I'm like this. Maybe venye kami like okay, mimi mzungu mwitu like kama mimi Esther mzungu mwitu venye niko se kujiaccept. I think you see vitu zingine. So I think ukikosa kujipenda kwanza, there's possibility like you start finding love kwa watu wengine. Inda tatu utajipeana, utaenda pata kupenda msemo kujipenda.
Yeah, but see that's people pleasing. Alafu pia on your stuff umesema about mtu kukua 18. Mtu anamoffer marriage ako 18. Yeah, hii inakuwa whole other thing about that man kukua predatory to an 18-year-old person because umse akiwa 18 ndo anaanza maisha yake. So hapo nitataka kuangalia from that person. Yeah, mwenye ako 30 ama 40, hata hii kitu imekuwa kinisumbua na venye Leonardo DiCaprio alionana na sijui mtako 19. Yeah, because uko 40, what are you doing with someone who's 18? Ndo anaanza maisha yake.
To answer you, trying nijibu pia hiyo. Love unajua affect your mental part, your physical part and your emotions. Sasa kuna watu wameishi through hardships. Naingia nyumba, your dad has these issues and etc. So from as long as you can remember, nothing has ever been okay. mental wise and emotional wise, and then you find someone who's there for you, who wants to be there for you. So naturally you sort of hata si your subconscious mind ndio itakupeleka hapo bila kujua, unaona. And then slowly by association hivyo, and then remember human is to habit. So utapata umefanya and then even without you knowing, you are there, you are doing stuff, unaona. Then also at the same time vile uko nasema kujipenda lazima anze na vitu najiambia. You see those voices in your head wakati umechelewa, and then you go like, kuna ka voice unafaa ujizosha kujiambia, don't worry, you'll be fine. Ukijiongelesha vizuri automatically utajiweka poa, unaona. So mimi naweza sema stories za love ni quite complicated. So you the person who says unapenda mtu na wewe mwenye unaambiwa unapendwa, how do you find that rift of balance? Unajua is there a love of convenience ama love of figure?
But sasa unaona example umepeana about umekuwa na problems and then there's this person who's
now that one can fall. You are saying as a kwa pray, unajua huyo anaweza ingisha box because maybe mtu ameona shida zake, but that does not mean she's a bad soul.
Sisemi she's a bad soul. I'm saying the person who's that old approaching someone who's this young, it's not right.
You know,
Why is it not right?
maybe before like we continue on to that, do guys like understand like young girls see older men more attractive and older men see younger women attractive in the sense that you'll find like most of the time, like even if you look at our parents, most of the time it was like 10 years, there was a 10-year gap or something of the sort. And this is not something that like started yesterday. It started a while back before we were even conceived. Exactly. So like, if we say it's a bad thing, then
so bias.
What about like the guys who are currently like there are those people who are in universities who are interlocking with each other, and there are those who are in universities and feel like this one is immature for me, because most of the time we find like for women that's usually the case, because even like in primary school we are being told like women mature faster than boys. Personally, I'm an exception because most of the time I used to be told like you're mature for your age, So I was like, is it because I'm hanging out with people who are like 5 years older than me or what? Because I quite didn't understand why people were telling me I'm more mature for my age.
Okay, I think for that, before Atachukwe conceived, it used to happen. You know, for that case, women didn't have careers, you know. Yeah, yani ulikuwa unafaa kazi yako ni ulikuwa kuolewa, in short. So yeah, for that, unakuja tu unaolewa and then you go and serve the man. But for now, kuna this career. For most of mtu akikuwa 18 anafaa explore all of these things, right? Na if akiwa in a marriage, huyo mtu ako 40 hatataka huyo mtu akuwe anaenda kipati akifigure out things ama akichange careers every time, right? Ukiwa 40 you want that stability, na yani umefika point uko in that constant, experience all these things, uko na routine, you have all these things, so hautataka that shakiness.
I have a question for you. Hiki kombe ni nini? Kuweka ndio kunywa maji, chai, whatever, ndio. So same to the plate, same to the basin, ndio. So kila kitu kuna kazi yake. So using that, what's the work of the African woman in the African society?
Currently,
Like
there's no tradition, there's no current.
It's like what
you're a woman in an African society. Everything else ni instances of the environment affecting you. So you, because ini glass ya kuweka something called sindio, but tunaweza weka kitu moto. People even use this kupima mchele. But that's not it, is it? So, as a woman,
what is your role?
In an African society, what's your role?
That's a very important question.
So until you get that answer, you'll be swayed by career, You'll be swayed by you wanting to buy a car, you'll be swayed by this, you'll be swayed by that, you'll be swayed by so much. But you as an individual, when you go up, what is your part to play in the
I
society?
think for me personally, saying nikisema I know what I want, I can't say I know what I want.
Exactly.
But I can say I know what I don't want.
Which is in an individual.
That's what I'm saying. I think to some extent, all of us will know what we don't want as much as you can know. You don't know all the other things. Kuna vitu unajua istaki na you won't do those things.
But kumbuka, your actions affect the society whether you like
it or not.
True.
So how do you go about that?
In this case, my role as a woman affecting the society.
No, as in nilikuwa nauliza hiyo swali not because I want an answer, but because I want to show you that your action as an individual will affect will either build the society around you or break it. So you cannot be me at all times. Every time you also have to consider how does you affect them, how does me affect you.
Because the world is not just you. Whatever you do affects the other person. Because I have a friend of mine, she complains a lot about Andrew Kibe. She actually complains a lot, and I'm like, why is she affected with what he's saying? Because most of the time you'll find that he's trying to keep a woman accountable, even though like the method he's using doesn't seem like it's easy on conventional. It doesn't seem easy, but at the end of the day, he's keeping that person accountable. So like, how accountable do you keep yourself for you, for the society? It's okay to be selfish, but there are levels to selfishness. So how selfish will you be? That's usually like the major thing at the end of the day, because it's selfish to want a man who's making 6 figures in his 20s or in his 30s, because like making $1 million like a month, that's a whole level on its own. But there are those people who want that, and if I'm not getting that, I'm not taking anything else, not compromising. And that affects the society one way or the other, because you could have done something else that could have benefited people.
And the irony of that is they want the millions, but they were empowered to also get the same millions. So why should now it be I want this from you? Like you should also have your own, you know. The irony.
Okay, me from what I know, and I normally say this. Unaona, for example, nilipata dem amejikeep. As in here, she's okay. Kujikeep in terms of purity. Yeah?
In terms of
purity.
But before we go to like in terms of purity, which aspect of purity are we talking about? Yeah, because like that's like something on its own. We can talk about purity of the mind, purity of the body. Like which purity are you talking about?
Okay, purity in terms of hajeko kuduzi na msili. For her, amejambia, I will wait until
she's
I get the right. Yeah. That one with our example langu. Oh, so and then upate this other dude. Ye uko hapa kwa benda rakaranga. Of course, there is one exceptionals they happened, but you see, God pia ni tunaserve God just. Ajimwezi enda tu kurandaranda huko, then you expect a stamage keep, and then you went to my okay. I don't know. It's just coming to make sense.
Just go for it.
Like umeenda tu karandaranda huko, alafu like you want a star. And you're not even remorseful. Of course, if you are remorseful, kuna consequences. But not to them say, are you remorseful? Like, yuko hivi, bado tu anarandaranda. Imagine God hata kupata huyo mse.
Yeah, because now that's now an issue of immorality, morals. Back to the individual and lifestyle. Back to the individual.
So it's the same. Tukashonge example gani? So it's the same. Like, ukifanya kitu, your example ya millions, as in, like, when you were tell them I make millions akiwa 20 alafu dem anakuja na process hizo vitu zake. kuna vitu zingine it's logic. I mean,
That look was like, like
I
yo,
know. As in, siwezi kuja nianze tu kuprocess vitu zenye I wasn't there in the first place.
No, we were talking of fungua social media. So what are you looking for in a man? I'm looking for a man who can this, who can
You see, hizo ni
who
vitu
can- so we
society
just use that.
hizo ni vitu society imeweka na tunaonanga kwa memes. As in, like ni vitu tukwe tu realistic. I mean, yes, utapata hizo vitu then what? Then
Esther,
Thank you for that.
Then-
if I can ask, personally ask Esther, what is your dream man when ama unataka uolewe na mtu?
Say your flavor.
I'm holding a chisel.
Personally ask Esther,
Hmm?
tell us, who is your dream man?
Who is my dream?
Yeah.
It's okay, as Esther, the reason why I just didn't get relationship say, like there's a point I have to reach. Nipea mi nikwe na bring something to the table. You see? Isikuwe
Before
ati
you continue, if you talk about you bringing something to the table, in which aspect are you looking at it? Are you looking at it from a woman's perspective, or are you looking at it from a man's perspective? Because the way you look at things, I've come to figure out, vile unaangalia vitu, sio vile mi nitaangalia vitu. I do not want your money. I don't care how you're getting your money. Me personally, I'm that guy mwenye uko na pesa sawa, I'm not providing in this house, siwezi kakaa hapa. I'm going to look for something. Nitatafuta 20 bob, nitatafuta so ya mboga yenye itakuliwa ha. Yeah, that's me. So in what aspect are you looking at it? Are you looking at it from your perspective or from that guy's perspective?
mine, in the sense that there's beauty in having my things. Like nikibailand mahali, nasema nimebailand. You see, ndo hata chali akikam, of course siwezi dating say nimejua Christ. So of course there's some things, as much as msana anajua Christ, unaweza kuwa unajua Christ, but there's that specific thing that naangalia kama Esther. In that hata nikibailand nikuje nieke, like nibailand na yeye, you know, like ya kuja na nusu na mimi kuja na nusu tuweke ikwe full, you get, in that aspect.
So, what I'd like to challenge you on, you're looking at from you, and you're not in a relationship with yourself. You're in a relationship with the other person. When you're bringing something to the table, ask that person, yeah, what do you want to be put on the table from my side of you? Because if you look at it like that, ni kama you're the one dictating the terms, and that's not how like we figure out relationships to be. So it's not me, it's us.
It's not one-sided.
It's not just one-sided.
So that's why I'm single.
Hey.
Okay, let me see the relationship part basi. Yeah? Vile umeuliza, what are you looking for in a man? Personally, mimi nasema someone mwenye, you see, when you sit down and talk about like this future, I want us to be like this in the few months or few years from now. Nataka tufanye hii pamoja. Unajua kuna ile relationship unaingianga, ukiuliza mtu Beth, unataka nini? Alafu Beth ako like, mimi nataka kwenda USA and stuff, lakini huyu ako hapa like, mimi kwa nataka we build a family here and try 1, 2, 3. You see? So me naweza sema, in the relationship part or whatever and stuff, I think it's about both of you. Not
You're looking for someone to push you and your growth.
yeah, like when you're pushana, not even one,
Pushing to
both
be great.
side. Yeah, wenye kusema kama ni nyumba unataka hii, tufanye hii 1, 2, 3 or add up. Kama uwezi, me I can fill it up. Kama huna, I can sort you out, and then kama unataka kurudisha, it's fine, but mimi sina issue. You see what I'm trying to say? In that sense.
You want a mature relationship that is built and fixated on hiyo kukuzana, kusaidiana, mutual growth and development. Asante.
That's what I do. That's what I do. Money and stuff. Mimi kwanza kuna kitu siko baya. Naogopa kama like upate msee is already built like
wako na maringo
so cool. Si akisiwezani. Alafu mimi naona personally if tuseme rich, yeah? And then I find someone akienda kudharau.
No, don't do that one.
No, nasema
like personally.
Yeah. Not ile unajua kuna ile yenye na feeling for me I sijasema
no, it's okay. Give my fashion.
No, it's okay. What I'm saying is kuna vile sometimes actually I don't make you feel bad, but I think men wanayekanga in terms of when a lady has money wataweka chini. So what I try to do is hata kama I have that money, I'll try to push you up to fike tuseme almost the same ama upande, si ndio? Because men have dreams but hawana tu ile mso push it to them.
For me siwezi sema hivyo.
No,
for me I'll prefer if we had grown together.
Yeah,
yani
nasema
tupite this period. Unajua wewe ukiwa hapo juu sidhani you'll fully understand. Unajua ushapita that part. Yeah, so sidhani utafika level ya mtu mwenye bado yeah.
What I love most about the way you are reasoning in this context, because you realize that when you are how about your girls mature faster than men, or the context that you find that some universities girls are moving out wanasema this is my fellow classmates or my fellow college mates are mature. You know what? That is not the case, because you realize that most of the time, if you are in that context of being a university student, what they need is the upkeep stuff. So they are going there outside because they feel like these people cannot provide what they will be needing in their life during this period. You get? So they tend to try someone else who already established something, so that when they at least wameitisha kakitu, they're in a position to get known. So hapo nayo haikuwa maturity. That is totally materialistic.
But unajua pia kuna kitu hata hii kitu of campus. I'm not saying like what I've seen, yeah, because maybe I have a rich boyfriend, yeah, someone who's young, sina uchana na baba. I have a Trevor is my boyfriend, yeah, and then a friend of mine, Esther, anaona mimi niko nayo, so anajua boyfriend yake can't provide, ataendea someone older. So you see the issue is it's not about ati it's about the pressure niko hapo because anaona mimi napewa.
Then the pressure is for
material. It's not what you're getting from that.
It's material. Bado pia inaingia deep kuliko material. Unakumbuka nikiuliza who are you? A man, ukiangalia man mwenyewe kuna vile yuko, ukiangalia woman mwenyewe kuna vile yuko, and naturally women are they're just naturally women are wanapenda kupewa. So
I was actually told that men are givers.
Yes.
Like I was like it's in the sense that like he's not like, she wasn't like telling me like in a light note. She was like, I believe men are givers. Like you are supposed to be giving me. Like you don't have a choice. You just have to give me. And I was like, no, I don't have to give you.
You only have to give you only if you, the person who's receiving, is either one, worth giving, two, you are there for a particular reason, so you obviously have to get it. Come in years on Billy, yo, don't.
Or what you are giving.
Go. What you are giving? What you are giving? So you have to give it back. This is the bribing. But yeah, naturally, mi naonaga tu naturally, kila mtu akijua your own place and your own standard, tutasumbuana sana. Tutasumbuana sana. Plus, even those girls shouldn't be going outside to get anything. They shouldn't. There's education, there's empowerment. If you can't get it, then make it.
But how can you say how many women are like willing to put themselves in those positions again, or be patient with themselves to get through that education, start that
Few
work?
as fuck.
How
Close
many?
to none.
Close to negligible.
Yo, tukitolewa kwa graph, I think hadi tutaona book ingine kwa graph ya graph inaenda tu chini hivi.
Are willing to put themselves in those positions
To gain for themselves.
They be patient with themselves, go through this process. If it's not getting for themselves, like being with that person who's growing. Yeah. How many?
It's true. Wako but
What is the percentage?
it is a lower percentage.
Hey, what can you do? I'm using humor, so mostly, but work.
Like it was just an exaggeration.
Yeah, work. The number is so minute and it does not reflect in the media. It does not. It's not
Like actually in the ground.
It reflects on ground, so we don't know where they are. We don't know who they are. When you work on your Taliban, like yo.
I think pia media iko na shida hapo. Media
Anasikia mtu anduthi kwa West.
Inaifanya ikuwe worse.
Pikipiki na dizimu.
Si media inasaidia kuperpetuate that idea.
Very, very true. And you're also among them and your memes. You and your memes is an example of the media.
Nafaa kuacha.
No, as in, unaweza eka disclaimer. Okay, if you really want to make
like someone who doesn't know you,
yeah,
they'd be like,
this
because actually, I was actually talking with I think I was talking with Beth. Actually, I was talking with Beth, and I told her she should like take it lightly with you, because she actually believed that you are a heavy feminist.
So you should either put a disclaimer or limit your audience.
Gangster.
I'm sorry for those guys who do my statuses. It's purely for the joke.
But guys should have a sense of humor, by the way.
People should. I think people take a lot of things way too seriously.
Yeah,
The one has become very serious.
Yeah, way too seriously.
I read somewhere that you take things personally because it makes us feel important.
People think that they need to be offended by
because kama
everything.
mtu amekufanyia kitu mimi sijui inakuwa so personal.
Serious. Me, if I don't like something vile tu umesema, scroll.
At least
If I don't like it,
I
scroll.
don't even read them.
Ikiniuma sana, I'll tell you something about it, and then
Itaniuma but na scroll. Sitakaa hapo nianze kukuambia venye unafikiria aje.
kuna vitu vingine lazima
Kuna zile tu
uchanue.
naweza sema tu uja kucheka lakini the rest hata sisoma
I get you.
hadi mwisho yani ndio hata hakuna mtu ataona nilisoma ama sikusoma pita
Wengine walikuwa wameandika hapo, sio men are trash, nikamwambia I hope when you have your son things will be different.
mimi nimesoma ni mtu alisema timena trash alafu kidogo unasikia ameolewa na kuna watu wawili.
Elisa, must to be predominant.
So the ladies who are writing men are trash chini ya maji, they're just saying to the other friends men are trash. But chini.
It's a social media hype.
It's really like calling them jokes. You don't know jokes.
I think the problem is people, like I was saying, like to be offended so easily because they think everyone needs to have their opinion. Because you make a joke and someone thinks, oh my god, that joke is so offensive. Hey, are you offended by this? So yeah, you try to enforce your feelings on someone, yet there's nothing inherently wrong with the joke. The joke offends you, not society. So mtu anaona joke and they just blow it out.
Also
Why not giving a warning every time you have to say that humor?
I do it in a couple of, because there are new faces here, but when I'm with my friends, I just pop up like that joke because they for sure my friends know.
We already know.
Yeah. So come up as I if I wanted to draw that joke, I'd only be worried for you.
The listeners,
Yeah, the listeners.
So, like, as we wrap this up, because, like, it's been...
The questions are
No, there are more, but, you know, like, there are people who are going home and stuff.
Oh, and let's
That's one of travel.
So, our last question. What is libido? Because the first time I heard of this, I was actually in high school, and there's this chick who had actually alinisha box, So she had actually completed it. She was telling me my libido is high, and I'm like, huh? My libido is high. I don't read books at that time. You know, like when I was like in high school, I never like I am the type of guy who hates school.
Kilisha, thank you.
So she was like, libido, I'm like, yeah. Should I Google look for a dictionary?
Inakuwaga kwa ile yule mtoa mitishamba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Libido is sex drive.
Yeah.
Your stamina.
like is it like
For DJ Afro fans.
Oh, for DJ Afro fans.
Girinya.
Libido ni sex drive. Yeah. Like if your girl or if her legs were to shake and then she tells you this here for now, let's take a break, and you're still like
Hating.
chumaing as fuck like doshi. Yeah, you have high libido. Yeah. But if you're like, oh my god, guys,
1 minute, man. 1 minute is too much. 30 seconds.
Sisi acha tumalize ile movie yetu, and hata ukiangalia bado 35 haijafika. Yeah, your libido actually kuna libido kwa duka ijairudi.
So here's the like.
I think libido is also before the act. It's also like how often you're horny. CBLK counts as
Yeah. Your frequency,
not just
your frequency. Your frequency and durability.
So here's the like actual question. Well, we all know that when a man gets horny, his body will tell you. So how do we tell a woman is horny?
A lot.
A lot. Okay, you see, the problem is, like they're saying, it's a lot. So
a lot more.
If a disease has 10 symptoms, anyone you could interpret any of the symptoms as to think I have malaria. Yet you don't have malaria, you just thought this is probably a flu. So if there are many symptoms, it's easy to misread symptoms.
No, kuna zile direct. How she talks to you,
Yeah,
how she
there are
dresses
some
when you're
direct
around,
ones.
how she rubs your body, ukipita tu hapo, yo, that girl is.
How the voice changes.
Voice changes, you know.
You don't have to experience.
Wait. Why are men answering this? Why are men answering this?
Because
actually, I think personally, what I've had men also find like when a lady's
Horny.
Inaweza get confused.
You can use it.
Kuna wale usumbua, they start throwing tantrums. So kani boy wa kukatch pia you won't get it. You seriously won't get it.
So is it like una misinterpret?
it's just that
Your man
women think or they look for a guy who gets it.
Yeah.
With the air quotes, a guy who gets it. But guys don't get it. Guys don't get that experience to get it. So like, how does a man know a woman is on?
So you want us to tell you
like
I think persuasive.
Ule ingia kwa simu. They know something we don't.
You can share because
Tuambia tutasema.
We have what I know it's not easy to commit to really.
So what do you do?
no what
Hey, exactly.
What do you do?
What do you do to let the other person or
It's
other
ability
party
to
know?
figure out, my friend.
Like I said, they want a person who
Gets it. Like right now they want us to get it. We get it.
I think that's the simplest.
and that is basically blind. Just
Back to question 1 and 2. Back to question 1 and 2. Me not joining the suggestiveness. How suggestive is she?
No, I'd like hata hao watu the suggestions.
20 suggestions of suggestiveness.
Because like I can basically say ABCD, you can say ABCD, you can say ABCD.
Power couple hapo imenyamaza.
In-house.
Don't spill the house secrets to the
Yes.
neighbors.
Really that part.
I feel like it, but I don't have the guts.
Yeah, okay,
have
okay.
to
Actually, see, this is it.
You have to
It's hard to read because I guess women at that point aren't usually as direct. Because I think it's weird.
It's not hard.
It's not direct. It's you.
What would you
It's a
consider
hint.
direct?
It's a hint. It's not saying it's a hint, but then you see people misread hints. So if one day I think playing with your hair is a sign of it, and one day you play with your hand and wrong, the next time you do it and you're actually, I would know.
So how would
she plays her hair in a matter?
See now. The rest of it.
Oh yeah, see.
guys get away from the back seat? We're taking over the back seat.
You have no comment.
Same. Kulingana na mimi sina maoni.
Actually, it's hard. It's hard. It's job ni ngumu. Hivyo ndo mimi naweza sema. Like niambiwe ati mtu anikuja nje.
You would caress him.
No.
Touch him. You would actually
ati show gesture.
But I know that's why
Gestures. You're alone. Gestures are
If you are zero, you will be
that's why it's important.
Like you go like
she's a logger. She's a logger.
That's why it's important to feel a relationship. You learn that person. You just know.
how would you learn that person?
You just
And she
know.
can't even like
Open up and tell you like this is the
Umejitetea
sign.
mmefika hiyo point.
Like you learn from books because you read them. So if I can't read you, how
In a
am I
marriage
learning?
setup, it's a totally different.
even a dating scene, yeah?
Angle.
Even a dating
Because
setup.
marriage, madam tunazonga pia sisi.
You dated before you married.
As in, ni mana baby shower, like bridal shower, so any of these things. So like, dem ata ukitoka job, haza kutoka job, of course atona candle, au set up ya meza, tuna manze, kuna venue unaona. But in but sasa in dating, we had to
Unafungua mlango unasikia tu slap
Let me answer you guys. I'm not the guy. So, with this girl, it depends on how outspoken you are, on how much you want it, or how much you want it, and or the experience that you want to gain from it. So if you're outspoken enough, you can tell your guy by the way I feel. Na feel hivi na hivi, so we cheza kama wewe.
Nakuchezea.
If you don't know how to talk it out, you can make a move. No, you can make a move. You can either, kiss that person, or,
kumkalia, as in,
they have started talking. They have started talking.
As in, kumkalia.
They have started talking. Thank you.
Like what? Like.
Kuna tu venye
hizo mnasema sasa ni the direct ones, which are easy to read, but there are others not. Which actually, what she said has put up an interesting question in me. Why do some girls find it hard to make the move?
Because no, it's not embarrassing. Because they feel like they have lowered themselves down. That's why they're embarrassed. They feel like they have lowered them. If you got the guts, that's why I say it depends on how outspoken you are, the experience you want, and how much you want it.
You want it.
Yeah. If you want
belt.
Attack.
Hey, man, attack me. Hey, what are you waiting for?
Early in the morning, when you're talking on a feature belt,
Yeah, bana. Feed me well and attack me.
But I feel like in a challenge.
Libido, libido, it's also dependent on how and what you eat. Yeah, if you're constantly eating poor food, fatty foods, nigga, you never dig any. But if you're eating a lot of water, greens, yani, food ya man, blood flow is nice, muscle tissue is nice.
Men lazima zitengenezwe vizuri.
Unaangalia menu ya mtu.
I've seen like girls posting, yeah? Today I'm eating a pineapple.
Yeah.
Today I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's the pineapple for?
Oh, really?
What's the pineapple for?
You don't know, guys. Imagine. There's someone at Komarok when you use a fruit. So when I pass there, you know what he always says to me? I am remember, shouldn't you put pineapple? Like I look like okay, ndio nini ifanyike after that? So that so pineapples, if the girls eat pineapples, that part there will smell nice. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
Which one?
I learned something new.
Serious.
Niliwait for both.
The pussy will smell nice.
So you're talking about
Yes?
Feel the taste.
If you eat yours acrobats, if you eat sweet yours acrobats, how will you eat
I think like can you say once you were in a relationship long enough, I think eventually you start to figure out easy bit.
Are you saying from experience with your current?
And also peer, you'll notice new relationship out of open sana kwa mtu wako. So even if you wanted, you'll be like, but once mshaka some months, you'll be like, yo, we have drop
Anyways, that's all for today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation like we did.
It was awesome.
And I will try to kidnap them again for the next episode. Shouting, anyone with a closing remarks?
Wasichana tujipende.
Now it's trying to be emotional.
guns blazing.
Signs and symptoms. Hata kama atasema lani, mimi sijui utaenda ulanipa kitabu kwa movies akilani imagine.
Signs and symptoms.
Now if you're mine, I know your signs.
Now you see,
if you're mine, I know.
Huyu anaelewa ni yake. So I think most men need to learn their ladies. Lakini pia usiende kulana ati from your ex's part. Zile tu ex wako alifanya kuja nayo kwa msichana.
Utararua watu.
True. Also, hapa pia ukisoma kitu and then you come and try it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, kusoma is different than the actual
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'd say this. Please, girls, take positively those hormones of yours, those periods of yours, that pain. It has, God put it there for a good reason, not for us to complain about it. So,
or for men to.
Mama yangu hadi yeye msikia.
Yeah, so, yeah. You should take it positively, not negatively.
Guys, welcome to the Stage Be Me podcast.